Hey everyone, it is December 29th or November 29th. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I don't know about you, but I can tell I've gained a little bit of weight. I'm just out here real quick today to kind of start a video series that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I actually started, I think back in August. Started it inside. Putting a pot down here. I also have to pull a dahlia out of the ground. I'm not even sure if it's salvageable at this point, but we'll give it a whirl. So anyway, I started a 2024 garden plan video. Like I said, probably back in August. I think I started it inside, and then I was going to come outside and just show some areas of the garden that need to be changed or updated. I think I even started doing some of that, but I just felt like it was becoming a really long video. And I think I probably need to break it up into a few parts, because we do really have, every year we have a lot of areas that need to change. This year was no exception, and next year is not going to be any exception. So today I'm just going to showcase one particular area that we need to change. I'll show it to you. I'll tell you what plants are in there, and I'll tell you why it needs to change, and then we'll pick it up again inside, and I'll tell you exactly what we're going to change about that bed. So come garden with me and I'll tell you about some of my garden plans for 2024. And yes, I am already thinking about spring. The first part of our fall here in southeastern Pennsylvania was above normal. Now it's been chilly for the last couple of weeks. And for some reason that doesn't have me thinking about winter, it has me actually thinking about spring. But anyway, so this is the garden bed that I'm talking about. It has been here since 2020. I'll explain everything about this garden bed inside. Right now, I just want to take you around and tell you what all the plant names are. And I don't know if I'll tell you what's moving while we're outside or if I'm on the inside, but at any rate, let's just go around it. I think the bed is maybe 15, 16 feet long. So from that edge to this edge down here, maybe 20, maybe 15 wide. So let's just start up front here. We have 3 Walker's Low Catmint. They've already been cut back for the season. Behind there we have Alabama Jubilee daylilies. There's 5 of those. We have 2, I want to say purple emperor sedum. I'm not sure, so I'll confirm that. We have, I think 4 or 5 dwarf hamlin. There's epidendums. There's 2 here. Yeah, we do have 5, and there's 3 here. And we have these rather sprawling shrubs. We have 3 of those. Those are Durvilla Kodiak Fresh. There's another one here, and there's a 3rd one here. We have a laced up elderberry, which has not yet lost all of its leaves. The back, the kind of bones of this bed, are 3 Castle Spire hollies. They were newly planted this season. Oh, look, one of them even has a berry. Must have been pollinated by something before we bought them. Then in here we have 3. These are Decadence Dark Chocolate Baptisia. We have 3, 1, 2, 3 Fire Chief Arborvitae. We have a Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush, which is so funny, lost all of its leaves overnight. Not today, but just in the last 5, 6 days maybe. I just woke up one morning and all of a sudden all the leaves were dropped. So that's what this is here. That is a Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush. And then here we have 5 blue zinger grasses. I think that's everything. And this bed is behind and kind of under these 2, which I just showed in relatively recent video. Giant silver maples, and then there's that Norway spruce, which you can see right now is creating full shade for this bed. Although the sun is about to come around, and since that other maple back there has lost its leaves, it will get afternoon sun, and it does get morning sun at this time of the year. But those are the details I'm going to share with you inside. So let's go back inside and talk about what we're going to do with this particular garden bed in 2024. Hey everyone, so I'm back inside now, and I'm at my computer, and I'm going to show you how I design a garden bed for either from scratch or just like we have now. We're going to change it. I'm from a finance background originally, so I use Excel. It's just what I used in my job and my career in finance, and I find it easy to use. You know, I use the Excel spreadsheet to insert shapes and pictures and all kinds of things so that I don't have to buy landscape design software. There are some free ones out there, but I find them to be a little bit juvenile, maybe. They just don't work, or I just haven't spent enough time using them. I don't want to spend money on design software when I can use Excel just fine. So I'm going to show you kind of like an original picture of the bed that a lot of these plants are in, because I told you that they had moved from an existing bed. So what happened was at the top left-hand corner of our property where we now have our large rain garden, we originally had kind of like a kidney-shaped bed up there, and it was bigger than the bed that these plants are in now. So everything fit, and it was more sunny up there because there were no trees overshadowing it directly. I'm kind of looking at a picture of what this area originally looked like at the top left-hand corner. This was before we had all of the ash trees taken out. So the forest back there was quite thick, viney, overgrown, but the area where the original bed was much more open, got much more sun. So most of the plants that are in this bed that I'm going to be changing came from up here. Now some of them went to other parts of the property. Some of them, like the gingerwine 9-bark, are now in the rain garden berm. So they kind of stayed where they were, but most of the other plants moved. And the reason why I want to change this bed is because it is no longer getting enough sun. The plants that were in the original bed at the top left-hand corner of the property are all full sun plants. All of the plants, with the exception of maybe the Dravella and the blue zinger grass, that are in this new bed under the 2 maples are also all full sun plants. And because those maples are getting bigger and bigger, it's creating more and more shade there. So unfortunately, the plants in that bed are now no longer getting full sun. There used to be 3 maples there. We had one taken down, I think in 2016, because it kept losing large branches, and we were told it was probably just easier to just have it taken down. At the time, we had the other 2 limbed up. So for several years, we got more sun there, but I don't want to create a situation for myself where I have to continually limb up trees. These 2 maples could probably have been limbed up again a couple years ago, but because there is such a steep slope to get up to those 2 maples, that means every 4 or 5 years or so, we're getting heavy equipment up a steep slope, and it's killing our grass. We don't want to be having to fix grass every 4 years either. And one of the reasons why I did not make this bed bigger was because in front of those 2 maples, we had the area sodded after we had our second retaining wall installed in 2018. The area was really destroyed. Even though the retaining wall is not really big, they had to use a caterpillar to get up there with the stones, and the area just got totally destroyed. We were having a really hard time because of the shade growing grass, so we just decided to have it sodded. So that was in probably 2019 we had the sod laid, or maybe fall 2018, summer 2019. So it was quite expensive to have sod laid in an area that large, so we didn't want to end up destroying 75% of that, creating a new bed under those 2 maples that would have encompassed the 2 maples. So the easiest thing to do now is to just take most of those plants out, find someplace else for them in the garden, and now this will become a part sun to some shade bed. I mean, in the summer, it does get a lot of sun in the morning and again in late afternoon, evening. And it gets a lot of sun now that the leaves have all dropped, but it's not enough sun for full sun plants. So it's going to become a mostly shady bed, probably get shadier as time goes on. The only thing I'm leaving there are the 3 Castle Spire hollies. They are also a full sun plant, so, but I don't have any place else on the property for them. They were specifically bought for this bed. So for now, I'm going to leave them, and I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you just some more pictures of what I want to do, where these plants came from. I will show you my Excel spreadsheet with my plan, which also has pictures in it of plants that I want to put in there now. The only thing I don't really have at this time, and maybe I'll create something real quick, is a plan for where most of the plants in that bed are going to go. I just don't know at this point. But so let me turn you around and show you my plans for this bed underneath those 2 maples and where these plants originally came from. So here's a picture of the top left-hand corner of the property where the large rain garden is now. So you can see how thick the woods were back there. That is no longer there. And you can see the original bed was kind of a kidney shape. And it's really relatively open, even with all of these trees. This area got a lot of sun because in the summer, the sun is directly overhead. So it's kind of shining right down on our entire yard. The only thing that created a little bit of shade with this was this birch tree, which is relatively open, so it wasn't an issue. So that is the original where all of these plants came from. You can see it there, not there. And then I think I have so here is, you can see the edge of the property, and you can see we're starting here the installation of the rain garden and the berm up there. You can see that there. So I think that's really all we need to see for that. I don't know if I have any more pictures of the area that we're changing. I mean, it's always kind of looked like it is. It's just that, like I had said, there were 3 trees there originally. Let me actually see if I can find a picture of the area, what it looked like originally. Okay, here's a picture from 2017 before we had the maples limbed up and the 3rd maple. So you can see the 3rd maple here. Very thick trunk. Let's see if I can get a better picture of that for you. It was a multi-stemmed maple. They all had rather low canopies, although this one was lower. And you can see we did have a bed around all of those 3 maples. We were kind of trying to dress it up a little bit. I mean, my neighbors, when this was an empty lot, they had also tried to create a bed under here, even though it wasn't their property. You can see their property is, you can see that mouse, or those 3 or 4 here, dwarf Alberta spruces. Technically that's our property, but that's the edge of their landscaping. They had planted all of the trees that are on our property. They planted, including these maples. So there was just layer upon layer of, and we did not know this until we started landscaping the area ourselves, layer and layer of landscape fabric under here and mulch. And that's probably why the trees started to suffer a little bit. You really aren't supposed to put that kind of stuff directly over tree roots. It really can damage the tree. So we had all that stuff removed, and you know, our second wall's not even up here yet, but this is the area that was pretty well destroyed, including going all the way up here when we had our second retaining wall installed in 2018. So this is the area from about here over that we had sodded. So that's kind of why I didn't want to ruin all that sod by creating this bed even bigger. I would have liked for it to have encompassed these 2 maples. At the time, we didn't do that. Maybe at some point in the future, if we need a bigger bed here, we extend it. But right now it's fine. It's not even out this far. We did not encompass the roots of this. The roots are still there. We had the tree taken down and the stump ground, but you know, there are still roots all throughout here. So this is what the area originally looked like before we got rid of the tree, had these two limbed up, and had all this mulch and landscape fabric removed, and then had sod laid. So here we are now. I'm going to roll the clip that I was just outside filming so that you can see the area again, that what it looks like now, and what the bed looks like now, and how that area has changed. So here we go. Going up the steps of the first wall, you can see the second wall in the back here. The installation of that is what destroyed this area completely, and now you can see right here. So here's the two remaining maples. All of that mulch that was here, all that landscape fabric and all that mulch, years of it built up, are gone. This area, all throughout here, right, all in through here, is all sodded. And then this is the new bed, and you can see it definitely is much smaller than that original bed we had up at the top of the property. So that's why, part of the reason why we need to change this area. There's just some things in here that are going to get too big for the bed, and most of these plants now are just getting too much shade, because these maples, I mean, they're definitely still limbed up from where they were in 2017. It's just the canopies themselves are getting fuller and fuller. I mean, you can't really see it here, and I don't think you could see it on that original picture, but the canopies of these trees were just immense. And they're starting to get that way again. So, like I said, I just really don't want to have to continue to limb these trees up and destroy grass coming up here. And I don't want to have to, I really don't want to have them taken down either, because it is nice to have some shade in the summer when it's incredibly hot. So that's why we're looking to change out the bed. For me, it's just the simplest, probably least expensive thing to do, is just change out the plants in here so that we don't have to continually worry about limbing the trees up, or maybe eventually have them taken down. It's just not something I want to continue to do. I think actually I can even show you a picture we have from, yes, right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is how destroyed our property gets. Anytime we have to have heavy equipment come in, this is what it looked like. This was from the installation of our patio. That was in 2016. You can see up here, still have the mulch that was not yet removed because we had not yet had the maples limbed up, or we hadn't had the one removed. If I can zoom you in there. And you can see this is the hill. Like, this is the hill I'm talking about that we would have to get up. And it's not easy, even in dry weather, to get equipment up this slope without destroying the grass here. As a matter of fact, it still has tire tracks up here, even though they're fading. And this area here is still quite bare from what we had. Let's see if you're seeing, trying to get it here on. Yeah, you can kind of see the mouse moving. This area is still very bare here, and this area going all the way up, all the way to the top of the property, still has tire tracks from when we had that rain garden installed. This is the only access to the top of our property, so don't really want to have to keep destroying this. So, all right, I'm going to close that picture. Hopefully you kind of got the idea of what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to do now is show you the plan, the Excel spreadsheet that I use. So this is the bed. These are the 3 Castle Spire hollies in the back here. See if I can get you closer. Get a shot. So up top, those are the 3 Castle Spires, and other than the blue zinger grass, which is down here on the right hand side, those are really the only things that are going to stay. The blue zinger grass is shade tolerant. Like I said, Castle Spire hollies, not so much, but they were specifically bought for this bed to kind of create a little bit of a screen in the back here. So what I'd like to replace all of the existing plants with, I have pictures of on here. I just came across this beauty. which is called an eclipse hydrangea. This dark foliage, dark stems, dark, almost red blooms. Gets 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. I'm not sure we can fit 3 of them in here. That's what I have here. But, so maybe might have to do 2. They're 4 to 5 foot wide. They are, I believe they are a cross between a macrophylla and a serrata. So they're more cold tolerant, and they're also more shade tolerant because of that serrata hybrid. So I feel like that would look really, really pretty right here. I'm still on draw mode. Hang on a sec. So 3 of them right here. The blue zinger grasses will stay, like I said. And the next thing, I think something pretty here along the lines of a peach or a berry colored heuchera. Now this is a berry smoothie. It's a really pretty pink, kind of a silvery pink. I know it's not, it doesn't look like that on the camera right now, but on my screen, it's a pretty silvery pink that I think will look, that'll work well with the dark foliage and the reddish blooms of the hydrangea. Then over here, I'd like to do a Brunnera Skyrocket, Pink Skyrocket Tiarella mix, which I have a picture of down here. I just think that is such a pretty mix. So we've got the Brunnera and the Pink Skyrocket Tiarella. Then up here, I think a pretty Goshiki Holly. You can see that in the picture here. It's like variegated because I think that will be a nice pop of brightness. Now, not that it's dark under here because it's not, but I think that will be a bright pop of a variegated shrub that will really stand out up here. And then a smaller oak leaf hydrangea up here, like a Sykes Dwarf or a Toy Soldier, which is also in that picture. This picture right here is an oak leaf hydrangea. That's a Sykes Dwarf, and that's the Goshiki Holly. Goshiki Hollies are pretty easy to find. I did buy one recently. I showed it in a video maybe a month and a half ago when we were planting that white pillar Rose of Sharon. So I could always move that one up here or just get another one because quite honestly, like I said, they're very easy to find. So that is my plan for this area. Let me know what you think. Or do you think maybe I should do something different? I'm kind of thinking, you know, maybe not a dark hydrangea, but I really think this is unique with the dark foliage. And it is quite shady in this part, which is why that Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush has to move. It is no longer gold, it's green because it's too shaded. So I think these hydrangeas would just do really well here. And I feel like also in here I have either an Acarus or a Carex Avarillo because they are quite shade tolerant, although they can like consistent moisture. Now because this bed is under 2 maples, the ground under maple trees is what's the word I'm looking for? It is seriously difficult to garden under. I would consider it an extreme garden situation because of the thick mat of roots that maples put out very close to the surface. This bed, though, is almost raised. We put lots and lots of compost to raise this bed, and there's lots of mulch there. So all these plants sit very, they sit above the, like the base ground layer. So once it does get wet, it tends to hold on to the moisture. So I think all of these plants in here would appreciate that. That's not a problem. It's not far from the house, so we're always watering it if we need to anyway. It's not like it's all the way at the top of the property like some of our other beds. So I think most of these plants would be okay. I just have to watch out for the Brunneras down here. If they get too much sun, which the edge of the bed does get a little bit more sun than, say, this part back here. Just have to watch that to make sure that they don't burn. But I'd love to know your thoughts, what you think this is going to look like, if these plants would look great together. So definitely leave a comment. And like I said, the only other part of this that I haven't given a heck of a lot of thought to recently is where all of the plants that are in here are going to go. Some of them I do know. So the three Kodiak Fresh Durvilla that are on this side of the bed are going to go behind our seating area near the two blue shadow Fothergillas we planted recently. I'm not sure where the Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush or the Laced Up Elderberry are going to go. I had originally wanted to do another bed where we just planted the 4 green giant arbs. And I thought those would go in that bed. That was going to be a bed that was going to just hold all of our plants that need to be moved. And they were just going to go there permanently. Let me see if I can find, I have another plan like this. Let me see if I can find that. So yeah, here is a plan of where I was going to move a lot of that stuff. This was going to become another kidney-shaped bed. It would have been in front of where we planted those 4 arbs in a recent video. So you can see I have the gold smoke bush here. This was going to be the black lace elderberry. The catmint was going to move up here. We have some bee balm and some daylilies from a different location that need to be moved. We have Veronica, coneflowers, clematis, blonde ambition grasses. All of those plants from that bed, not all of them, but most of them, were going to come up here. But the plan for here has changed now that we have the 4 arbs down here. So that's why I'm not sure where those plants are going to go. The daylilies, the smoke bush, the laced up elderberry. Like I said, the Durvilla, we have a spot for. The fire chief arborvitae definitely need more sun than they're getting in that bed. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not opposed with giving away some of the plants that need to come out of that bed. The sedum definitely needs more sun than it's getting there. Our rain garden berm is kind of getting full up, so there's not a heck of a lot of space there to move any of those plants. So I have to give that piece of this plan a little bit more thought. But that will probably be part of a different video, garden plans in 2024, part 2 or part 3, because like I said, there are definitely a lot more areas that need some adjusting, need some help. So that's why this video is going to be broken up into several different pieces. So stay tuned for that upcoming. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, like I said, if you have any suggestions or if you think something else would work better here, definitely leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.